All right, let's talk trains. It's kind of wild when you think about it, right? We went from these simple horse-drawn carts all the way to silent floating machines that are nearly as fast as airplanes. The whole story is just one upgrade after another. So the big question is, how on earth did we get from there to here? I mean, it sounds almost impossible, doesn't it? But this whole journey from noisy clattering hooves to the quiet hum of magnetic levitation, it wasn't some single giant leap. No, it was a series of amazing innovations, with each one being like a level up that totally changed the game.
So before we jump into all the crazy speed and the cool tech, we've got to go way, way back, right back to the starting line. And you might be a little surprised to find out that the very first railways, well, they were powered by something a lot more familiar than steam.
Yep, you guessed it, horses. The very first railways were basically just horse-powered wagonways, super simple, but pretty effective for hauling heavy stuff like coal out of mines. It definitely worked, but man, was it slow. The real revolution, the big aha moment, came from a single powerful question. What if the engine could actually pull itself?
And this is what they came up with. This is Richard Trevithick's invention from 1804. Someone famously said it looked like a teapot with wheels, and you can kind of see why. But hey, even if it was loud and clunky and hissed a lot, this thing was a complete revolution. This is the first time in all of human history that we used steam power to move something on land all by itself.
So this was the first big level up. Trevithick's invention wasn't just some new machine. Oh no, it kicked off a massive engineering race that was about to completely reshape the world as we knew it.
The early 1800s were just a whirlwind of new designs and little improvements. But the real breakthrough, the one design that would define the entire age of steam, that didn't show up until 1829. And here it is, George Stephenson's legendary locomotive, the Rocket.
Okay, so 47 kilometers an hour. I know, it doesn't sound like much today. We do that in city traffic. But back in 1829, that was mind-blowingly fast. I mean, really think about it. For the very first time, people could travel on land faster than a horse could run. This completely changed how people thought about distance and time. And all that new speed? It was like pouring gasoline on the fire of the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly, you could get fresh food and raw materials like coal into cities, letting them explode into huge industrial hubs. People, stuff, even mail. Everything started moving at a speed nobody had ever seen before. They were literally laying the tracks for the modern world we live in today.
So, for more than 100 years, steam was king. It reigned supreme. But, as powerful as it wasn't perfect. It was dirty, it wasn't very efficient, and it took a lot of work to keep running. The stage was totally set for the next big upgrade in train tech.
And just like in a video game, the tech tree started to branch out. The next level up wasn't just one single path forward. Instead, we got two totally different and super powerful new technologies, electric and diesel. And each one had its own special abilities, so to speak.
And you can see the trade-offs right here. On one side, you've got the sleek electric train. It gets its power from overhead lines. It's clean, efficient, and perfect for quiet passenger trains in and around cities. Then on the other side, you have the tough, rugged diesel locomotive. It's basically a powerhouse on wheels, perfect for hauling massive amounts of freight across huge distances where you just don't have electric lines.
So, with these new ways to power trains, the focus started to shift. It wasn't just about raw power anymore. Now, there was a new obsession: speed. And the mid-20th century kicked off a brand new era, a flat-out race to build passenger trains so fast they could actually compete with airplanes.
And the country that really led the charge here, it was Japan. They showed the world the Shinkansen, or as we know it, the bullet train, at the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. And this thing was more than just a train. It was a huge statement. It was a symbol of Japan's incredible comeback after the war, an absolute masterpiece of design that totally redefined what a train could even be.
Just look at this comparison. It really puts that jump into perspective, right? In just over 130 years, we went from the rocket chugging along at 47 kilometers an hour to the Shinkansen blazing by at 210. That's not just an improvement, that's a whole new reality. It really shows you just how fast innovation was moving in the 20th century.
But here's a thought. What if the next level up wasn't about a more powerful engine or a sleeker design? What if the next step was to get rid of the wheels completely? Well, Welcome to the absolute cutting edge.
This is maglev. It's short for magnetic levitation. So instead of wheels rolling on a track, maglev trains use these incredibly powerful electromagnets to actually lift the entire train up so it just floats above the guideway. And with zero friction from wheels, the potential for speed is, well, it's almost limitless.
And that's really the best way to put it, isn't it? It's pure science, but it feels like magic. Because you've gotten rid of all that friction from wheels on rails, the ride you get is not only way faster, but it's also incredibly smooth and unbelievably quiet compared to any regular train.
And this is what that magic gets you. Speeds of over 600 kilometers an hour. That's so fast it starts to blur the line between taking a train and taking a short flight. So think about that whole journey, from a little puffing teapot on wheels to a silent, floating machine that uses the power of magnets. The evolution of the train is it's absolutely staggering.
So there you have it. We went all the way from horse-drawn carts to steam, then to diesel and electric, and now, finally, to magnetic levitation. Every single level up in this technology has made our world feel smaller and more connected. It leaves you with one big question, right? What's the next stop on this incredible journey? What could the next level of train travel possibly look like? That's it for this explainer.